February 24, 1966. The morning Ghana lost its leader and Africa lost one of its greatest dreams. As the sun rose over Accra, gunfire echoed in the distance. Soldiers moved through the streets, not to defend their country but to destroy the government they once swore to protect. By noon, the government of Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the man who led Ghana to independence, was gone. To understand this day, we must go back. Kwame Nkrumah wasn't just a president. He was a symbol of hope. Born in a small village called Nkrofo, he studied abroad and returned home with one mission: to free his people. In 1957, he did what many thought was impossible. Ghana became the first African nation to gain independence. That night, he stood before his people and declared,
"The battle has ended. Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever."
Across Africa, people cheered. To many, Nkrumah wasn't just Ghana's leader. He was Africa's voice, Africa's dream. He built schools, factories, hospitals, and the Akosombo Dam. He believed a free Africa should stand strong, united, independent, and equal to the rest of the world. But his growing ties with Russia and China worried Western powers. And at home, others said he ruled too firmly, moved too fast, and trusted too few. By 1966, Ghana was divided. Hope on one side, resentment on the other. Prices were rising, cocoa profits were falling, and whispers of rebellion filled the air. When Nkrumah left Ghana in February 1966 to mediate peace in Vietnam, his enemies saw their moment. He waved goodbye at the airport, smiling and shaking hands with officers who secretly plotted his downfall. Among them were men like Kotoka, Efrifa, and Harley, the very ones who would betray him within days. 3 days later, in the middle of the night, a dangerous lie was told. At the Kumasi barracks, over 600 soldiers were gathered and given shocking news. They were told that President Nkrumah had fled the country with millions of pounds. They were told that Russian soldiers and spies were hiding under tunnels at Flagstaff House, waiting to take over Ghana. And they were told they had to move to Accra immediately to save the country. None of it was true. But the soldiers believed their commanders. They packed up their weapons and began the long journey to Accra, not knowing that they were being used to overthrow their own government. By dawn on February 24th, they had reached the capital. Gunfire broke out near Flagstaff House, the seat of Ghana's presidency. Colonel Emmanuel Kotoka and Major Kwesi Efrifa led the charge. Inside the Presidential Guard regiment, barely 100 men prepared to defend the president's home. The battle raged for hours. Bullets ripped the walls. Explosions shook the compound. Still, the guards held their ground. At 6 a.m., Kotoka's voice came through the radio. The army and the police had taken over the government. But even as his words echoed across the airwaves, the fighting hadn't ended. By 7 a.m., the guards were still resisting. They refused to surrender until the rebels threatened to blow up the residence where Nkrumah's wife and children were hiding. Only then did they lay down their arms. After Flagstaff House fell, chaos swept through the city. Loyal officers and ministers were hunted down. Major General Bauer, the army's chief of staff, was ordered to join the coup. He refused, and he was shot dead on the spot. Across Accra, homes were raided, shops looted, and government buildings destroyed. Even Nkrumah's private home was attacked. His wife, Fatia, and their 3 children escaped in fear. With the help of friends and loyal diplomats, they were taken to the Egyptian embassy, the only safe place left for them in the city. That night, Accra was quiet, not with peace, but with fear. Soldiers filled the streets. The National Liberation Council, led by Kotoka, Ankara, and Haile, announced they were now in charge. They claimed they had saved Ghana, but to Nkrumah's supporters, Ghana had been stolen. Thousands of miles away in Beijing, Kwame Nkrumah was preparing for a peace mission in Vietnam. It was there that the terrible news reached him. The Chinese diplomat entered his room and said softly, "Mr. President, there has been a coup in Ghana." For a long moment, Nkrumah said nothing. He stared ahead, silent, as the weight of betrayal sank in. Then he spoke quietly. "Tell my people to remain calm. I will return soon." He issued a statement declaring he was still the constitutional head of Ghana. But deep down, he knew the road home would be long. From Beijing, he flew to Conakry, Guinea, where his friend, President Sékou Touré, welcomed him with open arms. In exile, Nkrumah kept writing and warning Africa about the dangers of neocolonialism, the idea that even without colonizers, powerful nations could still control Africa through money, politics, and lies. He called that period the dark days in Ghana. Back home, Ghana's new rulers reopened trade with the West, shut down Nkrumah's socialist projects, and banned his party. They promised democracy, but ruled with force. And as the years passed, evidence began to surface, revealing that foreign powers had quietly supported the coup. It was not just Ghana's soldiers who betrayed him. It was a global plan to stop his dream of a united, independent Africa. Oxagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah never returned to power. He died in 1972, far from home, but his legacy outlived those who betrayed him. Today, when we speak of African unity and freedom, his name still echoes, because some dreams cannot be overthrown, some visions can't be silenced, and some names, like Oxagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, will forever live. February 24th, 1966, the day they betrayed Nkrumah, the day Ghana fell, and the day Africa learned that freedom must be defended, not just won.